All right, so here I'm doing a search on that article from Hot Air because Hot Air, their website, is like a petri dish of neoconservatism. And there's like three or four maybe commenters who are Ron Paul supporters. But in this article, basically, people, the conservative or the neoconservative right, is having a hard time finding a candidate. So now they're confronted with the fact that this guy did not see the 2005 housing bubble building. He had no idea what was going on. And I think as late as September of '08, this man was like, man, the economy's fine. It's cool. It's copacetic. So I was curious in the comments, when did they bring up, did anyone ever bring up, hey, Ron Paul did predict this? Now, of course, John Galt 23, obviously that's a Ron Paul supporter, and he just says, funny, Ron Paul had no problem seeing long before '05 that there was a housing bubble. Imagine that. And then someone says in response, yes, he is right on so many other things. Naysayers are always eventually right, since everything cycles. But he was wrong when things were great. Oops, forgot to mention that, didn't you? So I guess under this person's thinking, Kane was right before he was wrong. Where we end up is what matters, you idiot. All right, so anyways, we continue on here. The thing is, Ron Paul and many other conservatives have a reasonable way of explaining why the housing bubble happened. It wasn't so much guessing this was going to happen as much as noticing that the more government got involved, the worse things would get. So I'm going to go to the next mention of Paul. And so here, I don't quite, the responding, okay, they're responding to a piece in the article where basically he says it's not exactly a confidence builder. If Kane didn't have access to sophisticated analysis, then why was he drawing conclusions at all? And how sophisticated an analysis would it have taken to see housing prices have become seriously decoupled from inflation? And then this guy says in response to that, well, gee, Ed, the only economist who correctly predicted the financial collapse was Ron Paul's economic advisor, Peter Schiff. So according to your logic, we should elect Ron Paul president, right? Now, this might be a neoconservative. I don't know. Continuing on. If I have time for all this. This one here is just referencing Ron Paul has the hots for getting rid of the Federal Reserve. I think what they're getting at here is, did anyone correctly predict it other than Ron Paul? Because, they got to remove him from the equation because he doesn't matter because he actually did predict it. Now, a lot of people missed it, but Kane did not cause the mess. Mr. Joe, he's excusing it, making an excuse. Not everyone. Did Romney see it? How about Perry, Gingrich, Santorum, Bachman? Paul gets a pass because he's been all about economic gloom and doom for decades. Kane worked with the Fed in the 90s, a mere 15 years before the bubble. As though, number one, it wasn't building then, but number two, wasn't there a NASDAQ bubble that was being built during the supposed reign of the brilliant Alan Greenspan? Yeah, so anyways, it was kind of comical. And so notorious GOP here is responding to someone acting like, he didn't predict it or it wasn't that big of a deal. No, actually, I don't understand why he responded like this, but anyways, it doesn't matter. We'll go to the last one here. I think that's it. So it's kind of interesting watching the GOP and the way it's trying to find someone. It's like they're desperate to find someone. And the truth is, if Ron Paul were probably a little younger and he had Rand Paul's foreign policy, he would probably be dominating right now. That's just the reality of the situation. I don't really know how different Rand Paul and Ron Paul are on foreign policy, but it's the way in which they articulate it. Ron Paul's, he's more, I guess you could say, intellectually honest. He's too intellectually honest, and that sometimes he says too much that he doesn't really need to say. But that's the way he operates. He wants people to know exactly what he believes and what he thinks. That's how he works, and he's not going to change that. And I don't think he should. So that's pretty much it. Just a little rundown. That's kind of what's going on out there in the hot neocon world. So that's pretty much it. See ya.